Fox Sports.
We are Florida. We are Florida.
It's great to be back in South Florida. It was a good road trip. Sun Life Stadium is home, but not for much longer. Tonight on The Big Show, we'll get you all you need to know about the Marlins' new home, which is looking sweet. Speaking of The Big Show, two real good chuckers, Ricky Nolasco and his curveballs of doom, and Charlie Morton, who's off to an incredible start. Who's with us? Clint Hurdle, the Pirates, the Marlins, coming up. An absolutely gorgeous evening in South Florida. Sun Life Stadium home for, just one more year. The Marlins and the Pirates play Game 2 of the three-game series. Fish winners last night. Emilio Bonifacio filling in for an injured Logan Morrison. Greg Dobbs is in the lineup tonight. The Marlins try to make it two in a row against a vastly improved Pirate team. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton. A lot going on tonight. The least of which is my partner's birthday.
Oh.
Happy birthday. Josh Johnson gave you an early present last night.
Well, I appreciate the birthday wish. JJ gave me an early present last night. I'll tell you what, he was like, as Clint Hurdle, the Pirate manager, described, a big kid in the schoolyard, the way he manhandled the Pirates.
Pitching matchup is front and center in this one, and two guys with very different stories to tell. Let's start with Ricky Nolasco.
Ricky Nolasco has pitched well against this Pittsburgh team. He's also gotten off to a pretty good start. He'd like to rebound from his outing in Atlanta. And the key for Ricky, spotting the fastball, then using that breaking ball. His last win, his 14th win last year, was against these Pittsburgh Pirates.
If I told you one of the best pitchers in baseball right now is Charlie Morton, you might say, Charlie Morton? He struggled mightily last year, but look at what he's done so far this year.
Rich, if you told me he was 2-12 with a 7.57 ERA last year, I'd be surprised, because he's not that same pitcher. He's gotten off to an outstanding start.
We have a lot planned tonight. Of course, we weren't on the air last night. Email Tuesday, Twitter Tuesday has been moved to Wednesday, so we're taking your emails and your tweets tonight. Claude Delorme will be in the booth. We will bring you the up-to-the-minute info, photos, video of the new ballpark. That's all throughout the night. An email Wednesday tonight for the Pirates and the Marlins in Game 2 of a three-game series. When we get back, get the word out. New ballpark. That's what we're about tonight with the Fish and the Pirates ready to go. Degrees, perfect for baseball tonight. The Pirates and the Marlins. Let's go out to Craig Minervini. Craig?
Beautiful weather here. Maybe one where you'd have the roof open. The Marlins will have to make that decision next year. Hi, everybody. We're going to talk about the ballpark quite a bit. We want to show you another way the Marlins are getting the word out. A very unique way on 4 wheels.
As the new Marlins ballpark continues toward completion, the Marlins are coming up with new ways to connect their fan base to the new structure. If the fans can't always get to the sales office near the new ballpark, well, the Marlins will take the sales office to them via this new vehicle.
And anybody who stepped foot in the new ballpark headquarters was just blown away by the experience. So we said, all right, how can we take this out in the community? That's where we really met up with TJ McElhinney, Mobile Marketing and Promotions, and we brought him down to the ballpark site to see everything, and he said, you know what, we can do this. We can take this whole experience and put it on wheels for you so we can take it out in the community.
The client, Mr. Britton, called me and said, okay, we want this thing to be able to operate in small spaces, but we want the large look. You know, you always want the wow factor. And we want everything from our headquarters, the sales HQ for the new stadium in there. But we want it small enough that anybody can operate it and you don't have to have special training or license. So we came up with a unique operation here that incorporated everything and maximized the space available.
We're going to have this everywhere in South Florida over the next few months, and even once the ballpark is open so people can see it and touch it and see what's happening down here. There's full renderings, there's 360 views of the ballpark, there's different activities, interactive things that are going on inside the vehicle. So if you see it, make sure you come by and check it out. It's very impressive.
Can people actually buy tickets from this, or do they still have to go through the office?
No, this is one-stop shop. Come by, look at your seats. You can actually sit in physical seats and see, what your sight line is going to be like in the ballpark, and you can put your deposit down and be done today. It's equipped with a full satellite dish, DirecTV. We've got the MLB Extra Innings package. So, believe me, during home and road games, we're going to have the games on here so you can hang out, watch the Marlins in action, sit in your seats, and see what the new ballpark experience is going to be like.
And the Marlins ballpark is 66% of the way there already. Only a third to go. That's great news. You get to see it maybe in your neighborhood too. More details in the park throughout on a special Tuesday edition of Email Wednesday. Coming up, a Marlins ball game. Pirates, well, we don't have it last night, so we have emails tonight, right? Game 2 coming up with Pitch and Tommy in a moment.
Moving forward by AT&T, by Checkers, little place, big taste, and by All Year Cooling, today's comfort, yesterday's prices. Sun Life Stadium, Marlins and Pirates ready to go. Game 2 of the 3-game set. Marlins winners last night, a 6-0 shutout. Josh Johnson went the first 7, flirted with a no-hitter again. He turns it over to Ricky Nolasco. Nolasco against Charlie Morton. Jose Tabata leads it off for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are without Andrew McCutchen, their fine center fielder. It's a pop-up first base and foul. McCutchen has left the team. The Fort Meade, Florida native has returned home. Some family issues. No return date has been given, but they'll miss him. He's a terrific player. Tabata will lead off. There's Ricky's season so far. His 3 starts. His last one got roughed up early, gave up 4 runs in the first. A Brian McCann 3-run homer, the big shot in that one. 0-1 coming. Tabata takes a strike.
Always, Rich, a good sign to see that curveball drop in for a strike. Jose Tabata, the 22-year-old out of Venezuela, off to a good start. He's part of that young core that the Pirates have.
Young and talented core. And Nolasco gets a strikeout, the first man that he faces. So down goes Tabata. And here comes the Pirates lineup. You saw Tabata. Matt Diaz, Marlin Killer. Marlin Killer alert. He's coming up. Lyle Overbay put up solid numbers up in Toronto. Neil Walker is a bright young star in the making for the Pirates. Garrett Jones, a good power guy. Pedro Alvarez is struggling right now. And you've got Chris Snyder, Ronnie Cedeno, and then Morton in the 9 spot. And Ricky's dealing, and Diaz takes a strike.
Dealing he is. He struck out Tabata. He threw a fastball, a curveball, and then got him to chase a slider.
Diaz, of course, many years with the Braves. Getting the start here, he absolutely crushes Marlin pitching, and especially in this ballpark. Look at this. 31 games in this park, 393 average. Breaking ball, ground ball. Dobbs is at third, fires across the diamond, and Gabby with a nice scoop. Marlins kind of a patchwork defense with the absence of Logan Morrison.
Yeah, it's not the defense that they would like to have out there, but Emilio Bonifacio is in left. Coughlin and Stanton fill out the outfield. Greg Dobbs starting at third. Edwin wanted some offense in there, so the left-handed bat of Dobbs is there. Gabby over at first with a nice pick, and John Buck is behind the plate. Right now the Marlins have committed 10 errors. They're kind of middle of the pack in the fielding percentage department.
Here is 34-year-old Lyle Overbay. Marlins saw him in a Blue Jay uniform a few years ago. And I told you he was a solid producer for the Blue Jays. 7 consecutive years with 30 or more doubles. Last 5 years with Toronto, also a couple years in Milwaukee and in Arizona.
He's always been a kind of guy with a line drive type bat, a good on-base percentage guy. And Clint Hurdle was telling me that Diaz and Overbay, the veterans, so to speak, have really been good for some of the young players on this Pirate team.
Overbay fouls that one back to the screen. Let's hope that the Pirates get McCutchen back soon. He's a talented young player. He's fun to watch.
Tremendous center fielder.
In fact, both teams are playing without important pieces. The Marlins are without Logan Morrison tonight, who is still awaiting results of an MRI on his foot. So he's out of the starting lineup. And McCutchen is not with the team. There's Ricky's breaking ball that misses inside.
The Marlins infield, they don't quite have the Ryan Howard type shift, but the left side, Greg Dobbs way off that line, and Hanley's shaded up the middle.
2-2 coming. That one through the shift and into right field. Overbay has a base hit. It took the Pirates a ways to get their first hit last night. It was a 5th inning single by Garrett Jones that broke up the no-hitter by Josh Johnson. All year cooling brings us the weather, 81 degrees. And an email Wednesday. We have yet to throw out the first email.
By the way, one note on JJ, and there are some tremendous notes on Josh Johnson. Through his first 4 starts, opposing hitters are hitting 168 against him.
Mr. Nice Guy is the first email.
Oh, good. I like that.
On the beach here in Florida. Wants to know why the Marlins did not televise the game last night. Actually, it was all Tommy's fault. Here's the pitch to Walker. And it misses high. The Marlins and Fox Sports The agreement calls for 150 games of the 162 to be televised. In addition, this year, the 6 games in which the Marlins will play the Rays will be carried by the Rays and not by Fox Sports Florida. So you'll have a chance to see those 6 on Sun Sports. That's 156 games.
So in essence, just 6 games Marlins fans will not be able to see on television.
The schedule, of course, comes out. Clint Hurdle and his Pirates are not on television in Pittsburgh tonight. And so the Penguins have, I believe, bumped the Pirates off of Root Sports, which is the regional network in Pittsburgh. Fastball and a good one from Nolasco. So with all that's going on, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, there are a few games traditionally that we don't televise in April. You and I were both disappointed when it came up that JJ was starting last night.
Sure. But because in January, when that schedule's made out, you just don't know that.
We'll make up for it on Sunday when JJ starts against Ubaldo Jimenez. How's that?
We'll make up for it in July and August and September when just about every game is on.
And we'll be begging for an off day.
Actually, July and August, every game is on television. There are a couple of no TV games in September toward the end of the year.
Neil Walker, 25-year-old, grew up in the Pittsburgh area, grew up going to Pirate games, and burst on the scene last year at a solid rookie campaign. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Buck holds it. And Ricky Nolasco punches out 2, and we're underway. Charlie Morton takes center stage when we return. Six. Chris Coughlin leads it off in center field. The struggling Omar Infante hits second. Hanley Ramirez at short. Gabby Sanchez in the cleanup spot. Greg Dobbs is going to hit 5th in the absence of Logan Morrison. Mike Stanton in the 6th spot. John Buck had 2 big hits last night. Emilio Bonifacio had 3, and Nolasco hits 9th.
Well, that lineup will be facing the 27-year-old Charlie Morton, 6'5", 230. And we're going to see a Charlie Morton that has a different delivery than we saw last year. On the year, 2-12 last year with an ERA just under 8.
New and improved fastball. Coughlin fouls it back. Coughlin checks in at 270. He was 0 for 3 in last night's ball game. The Marlins' biggest hit of the night came from Josh Johnson. JJ with a 2-run single got the Marlins scoring started. There's Morton with a strike, and Coughlin's behind in the count, 0-2. Morton out of Reading, Connecticut, and one of the top picks by the Braves back in 2002. The Nate McLouth trade brought him to Pittsburgh. Big breaking ball. Struck him out, and Coughlin goes down. Here's how the Pirates line up defensively.
Take a look at Pittsburgh. Matt Diaz and Jose Tabata. Garrett Jones, the right fielder. Pedro Alvarez. Ronnie Cedeno Neil Walker, good young player at second. Lyle Overbay, the veteran. Chris Snyder, a veteran behind the plate. Ronnie Cedeno having a nice chat with Perry Hill before the game.
Here is Infante, and a lot of focus is put on the fact that Hanley hasn't hit a homer, Stanton hasn't hit a homer. Marlins trying to get those two guys going. Edwin Rodriguez told us today, he said, hey, I'll just take getting Infante going right now because Omar is struggling mightily.
Well, he realizes, Edwin does, the importance of Infante being at the top of the order, the number 2 hitter, to getting on base and getting things going too.
Morton with a fastball that misses up.
A year ago today, in the 230s, just a couple of RBIs. So he's off to another slow start, but he certainly picked it up last year.
Yeah, he hit 321, third best in the National League.
The one thing about Charlie Morton, he comes into this game, even though he's had tremendous success, he's struck out 6 but walked 12. So he can get a little wild.
And that misses up and in. All right, if you want to be part of the show, here's where you can go to email us or tweet us. FoxSportsFlorida.com, click on the Marlins logo, scroll down, and there you go. Lower right corner, email the booth, send the questions in. We'll get as many as we can, or you can tweet us as well at FS Marlins on Twitter.
Rich, I have a confession. I actually tweeted yesterday on my off day.
Yes, Tommy mastering the Twitter technique in Philadelphia. Hanley stands in. And a pitch misses low and in. We have a question from Stacy of fishstripes.com. She lives in Wellington. She wants a little more description of Lomo's injury. Is this something that he has suffered from previously? Is he available to pinch hit? I don't think we know the answer to that last one. But we'll give you a video from last night when we have an opportunity. Little roller. Alvarez to first in time to get Hanley. All right, Stacy, and for everybody else that didn't have a chance to see the highlights, the game not on locally last night, this is Lomo coming out of the box early. A strained arch on that left foot.
Yeah, it's kind of on the side and also on the top of that left foot. And I think if he can hobble around a little bit, he might be available to pinch hit. But we don't know, and they're going to find out a little bit more when they read that MRI that was taken today.
He stayed in the game, extended his hitting streak to 10 games, but is not in the lineup tonight. And here is Gabby Sanchez, who has hit in 5 straight. And he hits a ground ball out to short. Cedeno. That's what Charlie Morton's been doing in his first 3 starts, feeding his infielders a steady diet of ground balls. ballpark. Fun facts throughout the night: 38 concession stands, including bar areas, throughout the ballpark that will highlight the culinary diversity found in South Florida. Claude Delorme, Vice President of Ballpark Development, will be our guest in the middle of the ball game. And if you've got ballpark questions, by all means, tweet them to us or send them via email, and we'll try to answer them as we go along. Garrett Jones, Pedro Alvarez, and Chris Snyder for the Pirates here in the second. Jones, who provided some pop in the lineup last year for the Pirates, last 2 years actually. He takes a fastball down low. Jones, 21 homers, 86 RBIs. The RBIs, a career high. He had hit 21 homers in 2009.
He's kind of a tweener, not a 22-year-old, but he's 29, but he hasn't had a lot of major league experience. Last year was his first full year.
Oh, it's a great story. The fact that he played 1,038 games in the minor leagues over parts of 11 seasons. And to finally get to the big leagues and be productive has to feel pretty good.
158 games. You mentioned the home runs. He had 34 doubles last year.
He had 31 games with the Minnesota Twins and then came over to the Pirates organization. .34 doubles last year as well. 2-2 from Nolasco. Sharp curveball is fouled at the plate. Nolasco looking for win number 2. Ricky against the Pirates. This is actually his 9th career start. 3-3 record, but an ERA a slender 2.11.
Very slender.
Velasco misses down low. Jones, who broke up the no-hitter last night by JJ, it went in the box score as a single, but it was a line drive off the wall and right that Mike Stanton played well and made a good throw in that held him to a single. .32 fouled off.
Rich, we talked about it a little bit when Ricky had his last start in Atlanta. The fact that he's pitched so much better in his career on the road. And this a very good pitcher's ballpark. But Ricky just 20-20 in his career at home.
Sharp ground ball. Gabby had a good night defensively last night and flips to Ricky at first. Velasco over to get it. Baker Concrete Super Saturday is coming up, and it's a post-game concert this Saturday with El Gran Combo de Puerto Rico, presented by Miccosukee Resort and Gaming. The Marlins and the red-hot Colorado Rockies, who won again today. It's a 7:10 start, 1-877 Marlins, or visit marlins.com. Super Saturdays. A lot of baseball already played today as Pedro Alvarez stands in. And Alvarez up the middle, diving stop. Hanley on one knee. Got him! Tremendous play. Hanley Ramirez.
Boy, that's a thing of beauty when you're Ricky Nolasco and that ball whizzes by you, hit so hard by Alvarez. You know what? When you're 0 for 7 last couple of games, you're struggling. You hit a ball this way. There it goes by Ricky, but look it. Here comes Hanley. Pops up, and from his knee, gets something on the throw and gets Alvarez in time. Did he get him? Very close. Exmo, check it out.
So there are 2 outs, and here's Chris Snyder, the veteran catcher who had some back issues, but he's back in the lineup and producing right now. One of the hotter hitters for the Pirates.
Good news, Rich, is that Ricky Nolasco has the fastball, the slider, the curveball all working. He mixed in a changeup earlier. That's always good to see him have all of his pitches early on.
He did not have all of his pitches early on against the Braves.
No, he struggled, yeah.
Gave up 4 runs in the first inning. No decision. The Marlins actually came back and won that game 6-5. He did last 5 innings and gave up 1 more run the rest of his start. 1-1 coming to Snyder, who has good power. Pops it up. John Buck for a look, and it's out of play. Marlins, with their win last night, stretched their record to 9-6. Of course, in the East, the Phillies won today. Phillies are now 11-6. After Milwaukee went in and took a couple games, the Phillies beat the Brewers 4-3. The Washington Nationals beat the Cardinals 8-6. The Nationals are now 9-7 in the East. Fly ball right center field. Stanton is over, and he's there, and he makes the catch. And Ricky goes 1-2-3 through the Pirates in the second. And his ERA is just 1.64, and he is one of the bright stories, and I think a story that more people need to know about in baseball. A little side session in spring training with Ray Searage, his pitching coach, and Searage just, casually threw out, "Hey, Charlie, why'd you try dropping down and move your arm slot down a little bit?"
Yeah, and it was actually after they had seen him play a little long toss in the outfield. They saw him with that slot, and Ray Searage suggested that, and he's given up 2 earned runs or fewer in each of his first 3 starts.
And obviously that's a pretty big change for a pitcher, so the fact that he was able to master it in spring training, as Greg Dobbs takes a strike. Dobbs, Mike Stanton, and John Buck coming up here in the second. Master it in spring training and also learn how to throw his breaking pitches from that arm slot is pretty darn impressive.
So it's still kind of a work in progress.
But the results are eye-popping. I mean, you gave his numbers last year. 17 starts, 2-12 with a 7.57 ERA. Dobbs hits a ground ball out towards Cedeno. Now both teams, John Maley, the hitting coach of the Marlins, Ray Searage, the pitching coach of the Pirates, made the comparison between where he is now and where Roy Halladay is. And so we put video back to back, and here's what they look like.
Watch the left shoulder, how he tucks it, and watch the release in the arm slot. Very, very similar. Now, the Marlins hope they see the Roy Halladay that the Brewers scored 6 runs off of last night in Charlie Morton tonight.
So far, they're seeing the Charlie Morton that has been impressive in 3 starts. He's second in the National League in ground balls induced, and he has 3 ground ball outs tonight. That's a foul ball. Stanton's going to come back.
Last year, Rich, he started the season in their rotation, and after his first 5 starts, he was 0-5 with an ERA over 12. So that's the drastic change that Morton has made.
Some Mike Stanton questions on email Wednesday. Daniel King of Orlando. Why has he struggled so far this season?
I think that you could add up a lot of reasons. Inconsistency in spring training, trying to get to that comfortable place in the batter's box. I talked to John Maley, just opening him up a bit, that front side. You can see that front side. And it's going to take a while.
That was a Roy Halladay-like breaking ball from Morton. Watch this thing.
Boy, this will lock you up as a right-handed hitter, and it locks up Mike Stanley.
He's got great sink and run on his fastball now. And when he throws that breaking ball from the same arm slot, that's devastating.
His last start, he pitched a complete game, gave up just 1 run in Cincinnati. Had a little of that central cut grass working for him.
Tell you what, if this is how he's going to pitch the rest of his career, Pittsburgh is a great park for him to pitch in, because you've got that central cut grass, which is thick. It's not a ballpark where the ball jumps out.
There's the scouting report with that moving fastball. Big break with the curve. Doesn't matter if he lacks command with the change, because that other stuff's been pretty good.
You would think the command on that change is going to come. John Buck, a couple hits last night. Buck is now driven in 9. He was 2 for 4 with a double.
Yeah, John Buck second on the club in RBIs. Logan Morrison leading with 11. That's the tough part, and you have to feel good about the Marlins' record. Hanley Ramirez and Omar Infante combined have 8 RBIs.
Jonathan from Missoula, Montana. That's up near John Buck territory. Buck, of course, from Taylorsville, Utah, born in Wyoming. Wants to know your thoughts on adding a second wild card to the playoffs. Is Major League Baseball serious about that?
I'll answer the second part. I think Major League Baseball is serious about it from all I've read and heard. I don't know if I'm all in on it, though. I just hate to see more teams get involved, and then it makes the 162 game schedule less.
Wait a minute. Are you Bob Costas or Tommy Hutton?
But on the other hand, I hate to see too many days off.
There's a ground ball against the shift, and Buck pokes it into right field.
You know, if you have another wild card, then okay, maybe you give one of the top teams a bye. Well, then they're sitting around for a few days.
I think the format that they've tossed around would be either a 1 game or a mini series, best 2 or 3 between the 2 wild card teams.
I would rather just see 1 game. 1 game, you have to use your best pitcher. So now if you move on, hey, you have a little disadvantage because you've used your best guy. 2 out of 3, nah. Just make it a 1 game. That'd be exciting.
All right. We found some common ground for you up in Missoula, Montana. Here's Bonifacio. He rolls one into right field for a base hit. Buck will stop at second. And Bonifacio, who got the start last night and responded with 3 hits, has singled to right field.
Well, you get him in the lineup. He has like 3 or 4 days where he really is a nice spark, and then some things start to catch up to him. But Bonifacio, when he gets hot, he's hot. He's 5 for his last 7 now. And the one thing about Bonnie that you really admire, it doesn't matter or affect him where he plays. It doesn't affect his offense. Or where he bats in the lineup, for that matter.
Here's Nolasco. Remember last night Josh Johnson helped himself out. Morton misses down low with a fastball, and it's 1-0. Boy, he has tremendous sink on what looks like a very heavy sinker right now. This is Ricky's best team. Over 400 in his career. Obviously, Morton wants to get Nolasco and not bring up Coughlin in this spot. 2 base hits and both ground balls. This stadium, Tommy, in contrast to, say, Pittsburgh or other central ballparks that have the thick grass, this is the fastest natural surface in Major League Baseball.
By all rights, this would be a tougher ballpark for Morton to pitch in because more of those ground balls are going to find holes.
There's Chris Coghlan. So let's see if Morton can throw a strike here at 3-0 to Nolasco. Nope. Morton staring in, thought it was a strike. That's a big walk. Bags are loaded, and here comes Coghlan.
It's big in a couple of reasons. We'll check it out on Fox Tracks to see if Morton in fact missed. The ball has movement. Very close. Looked like it was a strike. But it would have been hard to score John Buck from second base. Now, with the walk, the base is loaded, makes it a little bit easier, and it also brings up the leadoff man, Chris Coghlan.
So the bags are loaded. Coghlan struck out back in the first. And he pulls a slow ground ball towards second. Walker has it, hesitates, he's safe! Runner coming home, Bonifacio, he's safe! 2 runs across!
You love the aggressiveness, you love the speed, it can help you win games. Out of the box was Chris Coghlan on what looked like a routine ground ball. There was a little mix-up at first base as to who was covering. So a hesitation from Neil Walker, the second baseman. That allowed Coghlan to beat it out, and Bonifacio never stopped as he came from second base and scored all the way. Watch the hesitation. The first baseman, Overbay, moves toward the ball. It takes him a while to get to the bag, so Walker has to double clutch. There he is. That allows Coghlan to beat it, and then the alert, aggressive, fast base running of Bonifacio brought him to the plate. Look at Joe Espada. He's bringing him home all the way. And made the call at the plate, too.
That was a violent slide by Bonifacio. Really jarred a big man. Chris Snyder is a big man behind home plate.
Here's a great thought. If you're a scorekeeper, Chris Coghlan gets the infield base hit. And I think 2 RBIs on that because there was never any hesitation on Bonifacio's part.
Had Overbay not started to his right, Walker would not have hesitated, and Morton would be in the dugout. As it is, the Marlins take advantage of a break and have a 2-0 lead. And here comes Infante. Infante walked back in the first. Clint Hurdle in his first year as the skipper of the Pirates. Of course, a nice run in Colorado, getting the Rockies to the World Series. He spent last year as the hitting coach with Texas, so he got to go to another World Series. And boy, could they hit.
And what a blast he said he had working for Nolan Ryan.
We have a Nolan Ryan email. Not from Nolan Ryan, but from Adam in Austin, Texas. But you never want to read an email with 2 outs and the count 0-2.
See what happens on this next pitch.
Yeah, foul ball.
And then go for it.
Foul ball, we're all over it. You can see Snyder has his fingers taped. Line drive, base hit, center field. Nolasco, it's bobbled. Ricky around third. He's coming home. The throw. He's in there. Let's hope he's okay. As he sort of crashes and burns at home plate. Tabata dropped the ball. That'll be an error on Tabata. And the Marlins have 3 runs here in the second.
Boy, this is the kind of swing that Edwin has been waiting for from Omar Infante. He saw that swing all spring. Now, rightly so, Joe Espada holds Ricky Nolasco. But there's the bobble by the center fielder, Jose Tabata. Ricky slows down, then turns it on. Now here comes the speed. There goes Ricky. He comes in and scores with a rolling tumble.
Making like Ricky Bobby. They'll shake and bake for the 3rd run for the Fish.
Great to see that smile. Tabata playing center field because, as you pointed out, Andrew McCutchen is not with the ball club.
Tabata has played center field. In fact, that was kind of his primary position coming up with the Pirates organization. Actually, coming over from the Yankees into the Pirates organization. Hanley up there. He's bounced out. Runners at the corners. And he got a slow breaking ball and missed it. It's 0-2.
It's another guy that sooner or later you know is going to come out of things.
Marlins are hoping that it's sooner. Coughlin and Infante at the corners. 0-2 on the Marlins' number 3 hitter, Hanley Ramirez. Line drive base hit right field, and the inning continues. Coughlin scores. Jones with a strong throw keeps Infante at second. And Hanley Ramirez goes opposite field. 6th RBI for Hanley, and the Marlins have a nice inning here, 4 runs across.
It is great to see the club take advantage of mistakes by a young team. And they're doing that. The base hit by Infante, that 2-out RBI hit by Hanley.
The little things have added up against Charlie Morton. The 2-out ground ball singles by Buck and Bonifacio. He fell behind Ricky at 3-0. He didn't get a borderline call. Coughlin hit what should have been a routine out.
You remember, Rich, this inning started with 2 quick outs. Dobbs grounded out, Stanton struck out. The Marlins have put together 5 singles and a walk, all with 2 out.
Gabby bounced to short back in the first. Inside. Anyway, the Nolan Ryan question from Adam in Austin. Ever since Nolan Ryan has taken over as owner of the Rangers, he's ditched the pitch count. Rangers starters have been going deeper into games. Why don't the Marlins or other teams adopt the same policy?
Give it time. Give it time.
Good curveball by Morton.
Baseball's a game where you see a certain team with success in certain areas and others follow. And I think it'll revert back. It'll take a while, but I think we'll see a little more of that.
Gabby just got a piece of that. And the count 1-2. Starting pitching has been so precious. And the Pirates, maybe more than any organization in baseball, know what can happen to high draft picks that are talented arms. They've had a run of 8-10 years of having a lot of top draft picks get injured, have surgery. Roller to third. Alvarez steps on the bag. Charlie Morton thought he was through the second, but the Marlins put 4 on the board. And the Marlins leading the Pirates going into the third inning. Ronnie Cedeno, Charlie Morton, and Jose Tabata coming up for the Pirates. And so it's Cedeno in the 8th spot. The Pirates shortstop. Nolasco has struck out a pair, given up 1 hit, the Lyle Overbay single. Cedeno takes outside. It's 1-1.
Mentioned Rich saw Ronnie Cedeno talking with Perry Hill. Of course, Perry, the infield instructor with the Pirates a couple of years back. And Cedeno, one of his pupils.
Cedeno last year at shortstop for the Pirates. Of course, he was the everyday shortstop at one time for the Cubs back in 2006. Split his time in 09 between Seattle and Pittsburgh. Ricky's breaking ball, little tapper. Nolasco bare hands and makes a nice play. And we check in with Allison Williams.
Rich, when Marlins fans make their way out to the new ballpark next year, they'll notice that every corridor is colored in a different color, but the entire ballpark is green. That's because the Marlins have taken every initiative possible to make the ballpark as environmentally friendly as they can. 90% of the construction product waste will be recycled. 20% of the material used is made from recyclable material. They're using special paints, carpets, flooring to improve the indoor air quality, and that's all to get this LEED certification. They'll be the first retractable roof stadium in the U.S. to get the LEED certification, and they're kind of the staple when it comes to green buildings. They focus on 5 major areas: sustainable site development, water savings, energy efficiency, material selection, and indoor environmental quality. Now, the greenest stadium to date is Target Field, but the Marlins can set a new precedent for retractable roof stadiums as far as being green, and that's good to know with Earth Day right around the corner coming up on Friday. Rich, Tommy, back to you.
Wait a minute, I missed that. Earth Day is coming up when?
Friday.
How did we miss that?
It's Earth Week. It's Earth Day.
Well, we haven't missed it, but
yeah, you still got time.
We still have time. How did we not know it was sneaking
up on us? Well, you're so busy
us?
celebrating Tommy's birthday. That's why.
There's a big celebration going on. Charlie Morton exacts some revenge, pounds one off the wall and left, and Morton takes a big turn, and he arrives at second. It's a celebration in the booth right now because the Hutton family has surprised my partner.
Total surprise.
There they are, his wife Debbie, Jason and Derek, his sons. This is between innings.
And the birthday cake. Yeah. I had no idea.
See, I'm applauding because we have birthday cake in the booth.
I know, you like the cake.
Yeah, very nice. It's a very nice touch. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Always a pleasure to be at a ball game on my birthday.
You probably have spent most of your birthdays at ball games.
Yeah, because it's always been in season. Yeah.
You'll have a couple presents. One last night, JJ delivered another 7-inning performance for you, even though we weren't televising. The other is you get to tear down the ballpark number countdown before the game tonight.
I do. I'll be out there in the 5th inning, I think, bottom of the 5th inning.
And I just want to make sure everyone knows that the ballpark teardown number does not equate to your age today.
You had to bring that up and remind me of it, I know, because it stands at 71 right now. I'm sad to report, though, not too far away.
A double by Morton, top it up with his second AB. Ricky struck him out the first time. 1 out. We're in the 3rd. Glad you're with us tonight. Email Wednesday, Twitter Wednesday as well. Tapper wide of 3rd. A lot of birthday wishes have come in, Tommy.
Well, get to some emails. I know you're getting a lot of those, too.
All right.
We have some good questions, though, you had, and we're going to save a lot of the stadium questions, new ballpark questions.
Yeah, all the ballpark questions will start in the 4th when Claude Delorme will be here to talk stadium. Todd in Boca wants to know, fastest Marlin of all time, Bonifacio, JP, or Chuck Carr?
I would say probably Chuck Carr and Bonifacio are faster than Juan Pierre. Juan Pierre had the ability to steal bases.
Juan Pierre, the better base stealer.
Was a better base stealer
of those three.
But I think Chuck Carr, that would be a great race. Chuck Carr and Bonifacio.
Ricky's 1-2.
Good pitch. You have the hitter thinking something away, and all of a sudden you bury a fastball right there, and Ricky thought he had it. Let's see what Fox Track says.
Nope.
Just
inside.
Off.
Two. Did he go?
He got him to chase that same pitch and struck him out back in the first inning.
So no swing, and the count's now 3-2. Tabata arriving from the Yankees in the Xavier Nady trade, along with a boatload of other guys. Jeff Karstens, Ross Ohlendorf, Daniel McCutchen. Ohlendorf on the disabled list right now. Went after another breaking ball. Tough play for Dobbs, and he makes it. Just got him by a step. Tabata can really run. Morton moves up, and here comes Matt Diaz. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Florida Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins and Tommy Hutton. Since it's his birthday, he gets the call on that as well.
Hey, Rich, maybe I'll get some birthday tweets.
Swing and a miss. Diaz going after a breaking ball. Diaz, of course, a star at Florida State, Lakeland High School. Took Florida State to the '99 title game of the College World Series, where they ran into Miami. Last year, his last season with Atlanta. And he had a shortened season. Remember, he had that thumb infection early in the year.
Funny how things come full circle. You mentioned he's from the Lakeland area. And when he was playing pro ball, don't know if he was established yet, but he was playing professional ball. He used to hit with a 16-year-old Andrew McCutchen, who also is from that area.
Diaz has hit everywhere he's been, whether it's in the Royals organization or in Atlanta, where he got a chance to play a lot. Of course, we told you about his Marlin numbers. 393 in this ballpark, 376 with 10 homers in 174 at-bats.
His career's actually taken off after he was released by Tampa Bay.
There's a liner. Infante is there, and he makes the catch. A Charlie Morton double stays out on base. Ricky Nolasco is through 3. The Fish up 4-0. Craig?
Thank you, Rich. Clint Hurdle became the 39th manager in Pirates history in late November, but it wasn't just baseball and the chance to rebuild an organization from the on-field standpoint that attracted Hurdle to the job. Clint Hurdle is the national spokesman for Prader-Willi syndrome. His daughter, 8-year-old Madison, has PWS, which is a genetic disorder. Basically, you never could tell if you're full or not. You're never satiated. You always feel hungry. The national headquarters is located very close to the Pirates spring training home in Sarasota near Bradenton. You can maintain a healthy weight, normal life expectancy. For more information, pwsaeusa.org for information. They also, one of the best places to treat PWS is in a place called Squirrel Hill, Pennsylvania, which is about 10 miles from where Clint now lives. And he is the national spokesperson. He said, I used to go there all the time, and now it's an easy trip. And his daughter, by the way, is doing very well. She's getting assimilated in 2nd grade. She is on a strict 900-calorie diet, he told me, per day. And she also has the HGH hormone she has to take because the body doesn't produce that, as you see her base in it, 6 days a week. But she's working with it. She's doing great. And Clint's happy to be a Pirate, not just to manage a major league team. Guys?
Greg, that's a great story because, Tommy, you and I found out about that when Clint was managing in Colorado and the birth of his daughter. And it's fun to follow her all the way from that into grade school now.
And he said the facility that he used to have to go to, which is the best in the country, is in Pittsburgh. And he said how blessed he is to be the manager of the Pirates and be right there.
Stanton takes down low. John Buck will follow. Mike Stanton called out on strikes in the 2nd. A base hit by Greg Dobbs has opened up. This is the bottom of the 3rd. Marlins haven't lifted many balls against Charlie Morton.
Yeah, but you don't want to try to do that against a good sinker ball.
And almost all of their hits have been ground ball hits. Infante's a line drive hit to right. Hanley dumped a line drive to right as well. 2-0. Stan hits a high pop-up. Alvarez is over. And it's out of play. Of course, Clint Hurdle knows this state quite well. Merritt Island High School. He was a star quarterback. University of Miami offered him a full ride to play quarterback. But he chose baseball. Was drafted by the Royals. Was the cover boy on Sports Illustrated. Two-1. Sinker misses low. They've had 5 managers in the last 7 years in Pittsburgh as the Pirates try to end the cycle of losing, which has reached an unbelievable 18 consecutive seasons.
Boy, you have to go back to the early 90s, the Jim Leland years. 92, their last winning season.
The Pirates, in those 3 seasons when they got to the National League Championship Series, came so close to getting to the World Series. They lost in 6 games to the Reds in 90 and in 7 games to the Braves in 91 and 92. And of course, every time we go into Atlanta, we walk by in the press box, there's a huge photo of Sid Bream sliding home for the Pirates.
By the way, another thing that Mike Stanton has gotten away from a little bit, and that is knowing that there's a lot of area in right field. He's gotten a little pull happy, and that's caused him to chase a lot of pitches out of the zone.
Dobbs is running. It's ball 4. It pops away from Snyder. Stands at first. Dobbs is at second. And Charlie Morton is wobbling here in the 3rd. Our email address, foxsportsflorida.com. Scroll down after you click on the Marlins link. And there you have it. You can email the booth. And it doesn't matter how old you are. It's Tommy Hutton's birthday today. We have an email or on Twitter. You can go at FS Marlins. Tweet your question. Miranda, 14 years old, big fan of the Marlins, wondering why Greg Dobbs is not in the top 5 in hitting when he's hitting over 400.
I think there's early on, I'm not sure how they figure all the number of at-bats, but you have to have so many at-bats to qualify. But if he stays in the lineup and plays a little bit more, we may see his name up there. As an example, for a hitter to win the batting title, you have to have 502 plate appearances. That includes walks or hit batters.
So to pop into the top 10 or top 5, Dobbs needs some more ABs. Buck fouls it back. Paul in Wellington. Why don't the Marlins wear their away jerseys with Florida on the front anymore? I think the answer to that is the Marlins are transitioning to new uniforms,
yes,
new everything next year.
Because they will not be Florida. They'll be the Miami Marlins.
That one is down low. Here's a good question. Aaron in Fort Lauderdale. What are the rules about talking about a no-hitter when you're broadcasting a game and a no-hitter is going on?
Now, I know you and I have had this conversation. I know we're both on the same page. If you're a flipper, and everybody watches TV that way, especially sports, and you're flipping around and
ball in the dirt, that one flips away from.
In the case of JJ the other night in Atlanta, I believe the score was 5-0. If you flip and see that game, you may go to something else. But if all of a sudden the broadcasters, in that case you and I, mention that there haven't been any hits, not the term no-hitter, there haven't been any hits, zeros across the board for the Braves, then you're most likely to stay and watch that game.
What you try to do, and what we try to do, is inform the viewer what's happening. And you do it visually. We'll show the scoreboard. We'll show the fact that there are no hits. We'll do it by mentioning it and talking about it, not drilling it into the ground. There's a shot on a hop. Cedeno picks it up. And I'm with you. I don't use the word no-hitter, but you have to say he's not giving up any hits. The Braves are without a hit.
Hey, our job is to inform you what's going on the field.
And a lot of times people will say, oh, I can't believe you jinxed him in the 8th inning because you said he...
But you said that in the 6th.
I said it in the 5th and the 6th and the 7th, and it didn't jinx him as well.
That's the way we approach it. I don't know if everybody approaches it that way, but I'm glad you and I are on the same page with that.
Here is Bonifacio. Our bosses, and we've had this conversation in the aftermath of the Anibal Sanchez no-hitter. If you're a television network and you're carrying an event like that all of a sudden is turning into a no-hitter,
you want people to know about it.
They want people to know about it. They want people to tune in. And nowadays with Twitter, Facebook, all of the things going on, the social media and internet media, fastball, swing and a miss.
I have a question too. So if you tweet your friend that JJ's got a no-no going and he gives up a hit, is it your fault?
On our Twitter page, there was a lot of that. There were a lot of people saying, I can't believe somebody tweeted that JJ had a no-hitter. You jinxed him.
Guys, there was a tweet that said Edwin jinxed it.
Seriously, because Edwin talked to him in the dugout.
He talked to him and maybe he did, because an hour later he gave up the hit. No, but there were a few tweets saying Edwin. Why'd Edwin talk to him? Well, he has to. He has to do his business.
Here's the 1-1.
To find out how he felt. The pitch count was getting up. Edwin knows the game.
Yeah, and Edwin told us the next day he knew that moment was going to come in the 4th or the 5th inning. He said that
he kind of sheepishly slid next to him and started talking.
He didn't want to talk to him, but he had to find out how did he feel. Line drive, base hit, left field. Dobbs will score. Stanton to third. Bonifacio another hit. He is 2 for 2, 5 hits in the series, and the Marlins have stretched their lead to 5-0.
6 for his last 8 is Emilio Bonifacio. Takes his pitch the other way. Infield is almost in, semi-halfway, but he gets it over Cedeno's head. Just a nice swing by Bonifacio.
And a timely email from Cleveland, Georgia, from Michael. When Logan Morrison returns, will Bonifacio get some time at third, considering he's so hot right now? Ricky goes after it. And it's 0-1. There's Stanton and Bonifacio over at first. So how do you feel about that last email? With Morrison returns, the Marlins are still looking for an answer at third.
You know, it's
runner goes, squeezes on, maybe safety squeeze.
We have
because Stanton, you had Bonifacio running at first. Stanton got about I would say about a quarter of the way down and then just stopped, and Nolasco fouled it off.
Well, and I don't think Edwin would take the chance with Stanton, the runner at third, in a straight squeeze. So, yeah, I agree. I think he's just trying to bunt. Bonifacio may have been running on the play. I think it's the age-old answer that we have, that the more you see Bonifacio, and we all love him because of what he can do for a ball club, but 4, 5, 6 games in a row, he starts to slide backwards. And he's better in the role that he's in right now, sitting a little bit, spotting him here and there, filling in for guys.
Ricky fouls that one off, and that's a strikeout. There are 2 outs. We used the word dosage in Marlins Live about how you use Bonifacio. There's a formula for using him right now.
And I think Edwin knows the formula because he had him in in the minor leagues. He's seen him firsthand.
Now, he could, say all of a sudden he starts to hit and he gets a chance to play a little more. If Bonifacio could be a consistent offensive producer,
if he could consistently swing the bat the way he did on that last base hit,
and take pitches and take walks and get on base, then you would look at a guy that could be an everyday player. He's chased back on a throw by Morton. We have some Dodger questions. Not sure if you heard the news in baseball land. Major League Baseball has taken over the Los Angeles Dodgers with concerns about Frank McCourt and his ability to operate the team. So much like the Montreal Expos, when Major League Baseball was operating the Expos, now Major League Baseball is operating the Los Angeles Dodgers. McCourt apparently went to Fox and asked for a loan to either meet payroll or some financial obligation, and Major League Baseball has apparently pulled the plug on that current ownership.
It's just such a sad state. Having grown up in the Dodger organization, signed back in 1964, and been in that organization for 7 years, at the time, along with the Yankees, the 2 best organizations in baseball. And it has really taken a turn the other way.
And that has to, as Coughlin takes the 1-1 pitch high, for you who came up in the Dodger organization, that has to be, and you grew up in Southern California, that's a real head scratcher how a flagship franchise like that can run aground.
I would love to hear if Tommy Lasorda could even spin Dodger blue in a positive way right now.
His diatribe might be just like the whole Dave Kingman.
I would love to hear what Vin Scully has to say about the whole situation. He has seen it from the very, very, very early stages, back in Brooklyn days.
Coughlin, a 2-run single back in the second.
Dave Kingman.
I thought you missed that.
No, I got it.
Lasorda's famous radio postgame rant on Dave Kingman.
Yeah, the question was, what did you think of Kingman's performance?
What did I think of Kingman's performance?
Kingman hit 3 home runs and had 7 or 8 RBIs that day. Just YouTube it.
Here's the 3-1. Coughlin a liner into right field. That's a base hit. Stanton scores. Bonifacio to third. And Charlie Morton, who came in with a sparkling 1.64 ERA, has run into the Marlins, who have put up 6 runs early in this ball game. And it looks like the Pirates are finally going to get somebody up and loose in the bullpen.
And what a nice night so far for Chris Coughlin. That's his second base hit. And he has 3 RBIs. Remember, he got 2 RBIs on that infield base hit. Beautiful swing. And what we've seen in Morton, the sinker all of a sudden is not sinking as much. A lot of pitches up in the zone. And that time, a good attacking swing by Chris Coughlin.
Ray Searage, the pitching coach of the Pirates is on his way out. Just a reminder, Claude Delorme will be by, Vice President of Ballpark Development, and he will answer your email questions or tweets. That will be coming up in the 4th inning. Baker Concrete Super Saturdays back in 2011. You can get all the action with the new Marlins 16-game Super Saturday plan. Enjoy all 11 Saturdays plus closing day and 4 other great matchups for as little as $12 a game. 1-877 Marlins. Infante up with Coughlin and Bonifacio at the corners.
You and I had a nice chat with Edwin Rodriguez about Omar Infante today behind the batting cage. And he talked about his lower half, how it was so quiet and so still in spring training. And he'd see him just use those hands and get base hit after base hit. We saw that his last at bat. He rang a single into center field, hit it well.
Frank in Gainesville wants to know when we'll say crack staff. That, of course, a popular drinking game in
Frank,
Gainesville.
it's only 8:15.
But it's Gainesville. Infante drives it right center. Tabata makes a running catch. And the Marlins will have to settle for 2. Add it to the 4. It's 6-0 Fish. Claude Delorme will join us. We'll talk new ballpark when we return. Marlins in command here in the 4th over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Claude Delorme, Vice President of Ballpark Development, joins us now in the booth to answer your emails and our questions about something he's been working his entire life on, the new Marlins ballpark. It must feel that way.
A lot of time, that's for sure. The days are long, but rewarding when the project's going as well as it is. 11 and a half months remaining, so we're extremely encouraged by where we are at this point in time, and we need to keep pushing the envelope to make sure it's a huge success come opening day next year.
Everything we hear on time, on budget.
Yeah, absolutely. If anything, we wanted to create a window, certainly going into the hurricane season, really push in terms of the workload, try to get ahead of the curve on the roof and the exterior skin. And the roof will be completed at the end of June. And then we anticipate having the entire exterior skin behind us in October. Hopefully, we'll be able to gain a few weeks along the way here in the next 4 or 5 months.
Ricky Nolasco punches out Lyle Overbay. Now we're going to look at some construction video from yesterday. And I've been told 12,500 blue seats already in.
Yeah, we're actually, I checked today, Rich, and we're at 15,000.
Look at that.
It's pretty impressive. We even have the seats installed in the home run porch.
Hey, that's our booth.
Yeah, right there. You can see in the home run porch with the scoreboard, and yeah, it's really impressive to have the ribbon boards done at this point, and even the scoreboard in left field. All three boards, even the one in the helix in the West Plaza, is fully installed, and we anticipate at least testing the main board probably in the next 60 days.
Now, one of the questions we had on the road trip: when will fans be able to actually go in the stadium to look at seats? Will they be able to do that before, say, March or February?
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at doing at least one major event before the end of 2011, and it would probably be an open house in which we would allow people to come in and select their partial plans, etc. So we're looking at a few dates, and certainly anticipate, if things continue progressing as well as they have, to do that before the end of this year.
What are some of the good emails, Rich?
All right, Tom from Fort Lauderdale, an original fan. I won't mind driving from Fort Lauderdale to the new ballpark if I know where I'm going to park. What will the parking situation be?
Yeah, right now we have 5,700 spaces on site, 4 parking garages and 6 surface lots. And I was meeting with the county today, and we talked about using 2,000 parking spaces just across the river and using a shuttle service that would bring people directly to the ballpark. For the people downtown, they can leave their car there, and we're talking to the county about doing a shuttle service directly from the government center and from the Tri-Rail station, Culmer Station. A lot of avenues. We'll talk to people with private lots, and of course people can park in people's lawn as well.
And I think one of the big differences that some fans don't understand with going to games at the old Orange Bowl or coming to games here at this enormous football stadium is that you're talking about 36,000 seats, and you're not talking about here 75,000. Orange Bowl capacity was what, in the mid-50s?
Yeah, no, it was even more than that.
What's the average number of cars that's estimated for a 37?
Yeah, for us,
what do you figure
based on the fact that we anticipate 5% using public transportation, 5% walking to the site, we're probably around 11,000 vehicles.
For a full house.
For a full house.
For a full house.
Correct. That's presuming 0% no-show, which is, I wish it was the case, but there's always going to be a few people that buy tickets and don't attend the game. But so no, we think 11,000. We've got 50% directly on site, and with all the parking, and I think your point was a good one. People were going to the Orange Bowl, and basically there was over 20,000 cars. We have the capacity to park 14,000 cars in people's lawn within a few blocks from the site. So, I mean, we just didn't want that to be the norm, and that's why we're really spending a lot of time talking to the county and city, and eventually we'd like to see a water taxi service as well coming across the river, and but we're probably a few years away from being able to implement that.
So there would be parking garages, the 4 main garages, and then some surface lots will get you up to that number of parking spots.
Yeah, 5,700 spaces on site, and then the rest, there is street parking, and we'll deal with private lots, plus all our efforts with the county and city.
And when Tom wants to go home, I think one of the neat things that you guys will do, if Tom is a season ticket holder and parks in one of the 4 garages, is you will direct people to a certain garage depending on which direction they're headed after the ball game.
Yeah, season ticket holders, when they commit to their season tickets, depending on location, if they're arriving from a specific direction, if they're coming off the 836, and that's the direction they'll be leaving, I think.
Hold on to that thought. Ricky just punched out Garrett Jones. We'll continue with Claude Delorme after this. Right now at Sonic, you can get your hands on 4 new premium hot dogs, just $1.99 each. By T-Mobile, America's largest 4G network, and by Nissan. Get to a Nissan dealer for great deals on innovation that you can count on. Innovation for all. You know, we won't have to look at computer animations of the ballpark much longer. So much of it is done, and so much to talk about. Claude Delorme is with us tonight as the Marlins hit here in the bottom of the 4th with a 6-0 lead over the Pirates. Hanley breaks his bat, slow roller. Cedeno has to hurry, makes a nice play. It's an email Wednesday, so we dive into our emails. And Gary in Boynton Beach wants to know, first he wishes Tommy a happy birthday.
Thanks, Gary.
And his question is, when will you install the natural grass?
Yeah, we're going to start working on it in October, really working on the drainage, and anticipate officially installing the natural grass in late January. So by middle of basically of February, the playing surface will be fully installed. You know, presently we have all our sports lights already done, and we're doing a lot of things out of sequence, guys. But you know, at this point, those things will really benefit us at the end from working that way.
Now, there was a feature on Marlins Live when the Marlins were taking batting practice. Chris Coughlin was talking in that piece. He was in the stadium. There's a shot in the center field. Gabby has a base hit, his first of the ball game. And Coughlin was talking about all the cool stuff, and he pointed out center field. He goes, yeah, there's the tank where the Marlin will be. And a fan, Mary in Miami Shores, heard that. She wants to know, are the Marlins really putting a live Marlin in the ballpark?
No, it's a mechanical feature in center field, and it's our home run feature. So every time there's a home run, that piece will come to life, and it's very vibrant colors. The Marlin will go up the arch and land in simulated water. There'll be a splash effect and a lot of moving parts, and it's going to be really fun. Special lighting along the way will activate the ribbon boards, and you know, people will focus on that every time there's a home run or a Marlins win.
Greg Dobbs is up. Dobbs is 1 for 2. He has singled and bounced out. Charlie Morton's given up 6 runs on 9 hits. The Pirates' bullpen is quiet right now. We'll show you that spot in center field here in a moment. Dobbs pulls a ground ball over Bay. Out there. Can you hang around for another half inning?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Hang around, because there's a ton of emails we still have to get to about the ballpark. Fourth was quick. Ricky struck out the side, and Charlie Morton got a double play ground ball. So into the 5th we go. The Marlins on top 6-0. Claude Delorme, Vice President of Ballpark Development, is our guest here on an email Wednesday. And since it's a Subway fifth inning, it's an easy segue to the food section of our evening.
One of my favorites, Rich. I was waiting till we got to that.
Freddie in Miami wants to know, what are the different types of concessions, and will there be any marquee restaurants that will be featured, much like Philadelphia, where they have the Tony Luke's and the other restaurants from around town that have spots in the ballpark?
Yeah, right now we're talking, there's an RFP that just went out. It's due on May 8th.
What's an RFP?
Request for a proposal.
Okay.
And
You have to help. We're just
we can go.
We're just
we can
broadcasters,
do whip,
Bob.
Okay, sorry about that.
stuff like that.
I get carried away, but yeah, it's a request for a proposal that went out and inviting all the local community who are interested in having and featuring local brands. We have the Taste in Miami in left field, and there's 3 or 4 concepts that we're going to incorporate into the new ballpark, and we want to make sure that it's items that there's so much diversity in our market, and we want the people to identify with local brands, and this will give us the opportunity to feature those. So by the end of May, we should have those selected. Levy Restaurants is our concessionaire at the new ballpark, and we're extremely pleased. They do a great job on the catering. They're at American Airlines Arena, and they are working with us on bringing a lot of concepts, whether it's sushi or very specific foods
I'm in for that.
Specialty items
I'm in for that.
in the new ballpark.
Ricky Nolasco's 1-2 pitch to Alvarez. Check swing. He went around.
Not
No.
sure I could have sushi and Cuban coffee in the same night.
Will there be a signature restaurant that is open year-round where you can watch the game while you're having dinner?
Rich, we have so many moving parts right now. I mean, this one is right now we're in an exclusive period negotiating with one party for the restaurant and just underneath the Helix. And we certainly hope that we can strike a deal between now and the end of the month. And that would be open 365. It would be in the West Plaza, just underneath the Helix, 7,300 square foot restaurant.
Ricky Nolasco is dealing right now.
He's on a roll right now.
He struck out 4 in a row. All right, we promised you a look at that center field wall. We'll go with this question. Stan from Asheville, North Carolina wants to know, he saw the dimensions are similar, a little bit smaller in some spots, but he wants to know about the height of the wall as well. Those are the dimensions on the left. You can see center field, 416, left field a little bit further down the line. What about height of the wall from foul pole to foul pole?
In left field and right field, we're at 11.5 feet. And as you get towards the where we have the home run feature, then it rises to 13.5 feet. But the lowest point is 11.5, and the highest is 13.5. So for someone to hit it dead center field, it's going to have to carry as much as 422, and then basically 13.5 feet.
So Nolasco, who has punched out 4 in a row, is 0-2 on Snyder. And Ricky is just...
He's on one of those rolls the way he was in
is.
Atlanta a couple of years ago.
When he struck out 9 in a row. That's 5 in a row. All right, there is the tank in center field. That's what Coughlin was talking about.
Yeah, that piece will be 57 feet high. So you're going to be, right now you're seeing the size of that, and then it's an arch that goes inside, and then it's going to be 4 layers, and then that's where it gets activated. It's a mechanical feature, and basically we'll be about 16 feet above the promenade level, and people will be able to see it from center field as well.
All right, if we can go back to that last shot, because you said it's simulated water in that big tank, but there will be, to the left of that tank, where that construction worker is walking from, there will be a pool.
Yeah, that's right. There's a swimming pool that's going there. There's a bar in that area. They can watch the guys in the bullpen, and on our side they can be watching the left fielder. They can be at the bar, in the pool. I mean, it's really we took the best features from the ballparks.
Claude, the game's going so fast. You got another half inning in you?
One more half inning. All right.
Marlins and Pirates finish things off tomorrow night. Then the Rockies, the red-hot Rockies are in. Look at the pitching matchup for the first Friday and Saturday. Sunday looks like a J.J. Ubaldo Jimenez matchup on Sunday. Here's Mike Stanton. He takes a Charlie Morton fastball inside in the Subway fifth inning. Claude Delorme is with us. Tommy Hutton has left the building, at least the booth. He's headed out to left field to tear down the number. Tonight, Stanton hits a drive to right center field and deep. Back goes Jones to the track, and it's off the top of the wall. Stanton jogging towards second will settle for a double. It's his 6th double of the season. And it is our Checkers double of the game. The Marlins continue to lead all of baseball in doubles. That's 42 on the season now. And so Stanton has doubled. John Buck comes up with Emilio Bonifacio behind him. This has been a productive part of the lineup. Buck has a base hit and has scored a run. Bonifacio has 2 hits and has scored a run. Claude Delorme still with us, Vice President of Ballpark Development. Is that the official title?
Yeah, it's Executive Vice President, Ballpark Development.
What happens after the ballpark is done?
Then you got to run it. You got to operate the building, and so the advantage is when you're involved at the onset, you can make sure it's functional. Because if not, you're going to pay the price afterwards. So.
You get to order new business cards. Then. All right, we've got a few more questions that have come in. Thanks for your patience out there in email land. Joe in Miami wants to know, will the stadium have motorcycle parking?
Yes, there will be. I mean, we're going to be able to probably end up with as many as 1,900 bicycles, and certainly motorcycles will be an option as well.
All right,
so.
Big thumbs up from Joe in Miami about that one. Now, Victor from Big Pine Key has a question about what else will be in the stadium as Buck gets ready for this 1-1 pitch. He said he's heard rumors of maybe a video arcade. Besides the restaurants and all of that, what else will be in the ballpark?
Well, I think when you look at signature pieces, certainly the skyline of Miami is phenomenal at night. That view is second to none. You look at the aquarium behind home plate is a really unique feature of this ballpark. As well, you can do you can go right around the promenade where we have 22,000 seats. There's going to be some really interesting art components to the ballpark. A lot of history on the Marlins over the years, and I think when you look at it, there's going to be some natural stops along the way. So people, we call it the three inning stop. So people, if you're behind home plate, there's the bar in left field, will be the #1 bar in the building. There's a bar in right field, and along the way, there's really some key items that people will identify with the history of the club. And some projectors and so forth. It's a small building, so very intimate. And as you're walking, you can continue watching the game. Even if you're at a concession stand, you can follow the play.
Had an earlier question about capacity. As you see, Pride of Naples, Chris Resop loosening up. 36,000 seats, 1,000 standing room. Will it be the smallest capacity in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, right now, 37,000 seats. People think Boston, but Boston's at 37.5. What's interesting is when you look at, even compare it to Sun Life. Sun Life has 37,500 seats in the upper deck. So there are more seats in the upper deck than our entire capacity in the new ballpark. But yet, when you compare it to this facility, we have more seats. We have 22,000 seats in the lower bowl. And here there's 21,000. So we really focused the design on giving a really putting as many seats as we could in the lower bowl and adding to the experience of our fans and the proximity to the field.
Mike Stanton out at second base. Emilio Bonifacio at the plate. You got Nolasco on deck. Marlins up 6-0. Bonifacio squirts that one foul. 2 more hits for Bonifacio. He was a big part of last night's 6-0 win. And Bonifacio tonight filling in for the ailing Logan Morrison. The Marlins awaiting the results of the MRI, the strained arch from Morrison last night. Daniel in Weston. Fastball swing and a miss from Bonifacio. Morton gets another strikeout. Daniel wants to know how many workers have been working on the new ballpark.
Right now, we reached during the concrete superstructure. We were very close to 900. Right now, we're averaging approximately 800. And as we get closer to a lot of the finishes at the end of the project, we'll probably go back to the 900 number. And that's excluding all the work that's taking place on the parking garages. And the first parking garages will be completed with a certificate of occupancy probably late July. That's the one on the northwest side. And then we anticipate all 4 garages to be completed by Christmas.
Nolasco up there. All right. We're getting close here. There's 2 outs. We'll narrow down our final questions. Tailgating. Carlos in Miami wants to know, will there be an area to tailgate?
Yeah, and the parking garages, no, but certainly any surface lots, private and public, that where we end up.
Can't fire up the Weber in the garage, right?
Yeah, that won't go over too well, but yeah, in any of the surface lots, people will have the opportunity of doing it. And, again, we're looking at some larger lots, but some are private, to give as many options to our fans to get to the ballpark early and enjoy the entire day.
I like the idea of a party boat on the river. You sort of a tailgate as you come to the game on the river. Yeah,
we think it's natural. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of parties involved before you get clearance. We think it's going to take a while for us to clear those hurdles, but we'll get there.
Well, good luck and congratulations. Hey, there he is, Tommy Hutton, getting ready to tear down. As the ballpark countdown, our thanks to Claude DeLorme. In Fox Exmo. Nice. 70 ball games until the Marlins are in their new ballpark. 57% of the seats in the new ballpark will be in the lower deck, making it the second highest ratio in Major League Baseball. We've showed the latest video throughout our telecast, and I don't know what is more breathtaking, that video or Ricky Nolasco's curveballs right now, because Nolasco has punched out 7 through 5 innings. Charlie Morton exits, and Steve Pearce will get a pinch hitting appearance for the Pirates. Pearce, and then the top of the order, Jose Tabata and Matt Diaz. Nolasco's 0-1 pitch. Another sharp breaking ball. Ricky's control this year, impeccable. This is start number 4. This is inning number 26. He's walked one all season. And He now has 17 strikeouts in his 25 innings. So Pierce hitting for Morton. Morton will leave after his 5 innings. The Marlins 6 runs, 10 hits. Morton had his moments. He struck out 6 but walked 3. And Pierce goes down swinging. And Ricky is just dealing right now. 8 strikeouts. Marlin fans, present your Miccosukee Ultimate Reward Players Club at the stadium box office starting 2 hours prior to any Marlins home game and receive a $10 discount on up to 8 infield box seats. Offer cannot be combined and is subject to availability. Miccosukee Resort and Gaming. Get in the game. Jose Tabata. Tabata has struck out and bounced out. Again, if you've just joined us, the Pirates are without their talented young center fielder, Andrew McCutchen. He has returned home to Fort Meade, Florida, for a family matter. And the breaking ball misses down low. Just like that, Tommy Hutton is back. How was it out there?
It's amazing how quickly I got back. It was nice. I've never had that angle watching Mike Stanton hit a double that way.
Ground ball out to second. Infante has it. Fires to first. All right. AT&T trivia. Let's see what we got. Let's flip the phone. First we have to, there it is. There's the phone. And we flip it. Name the Pirate who wore the lowest and highest jersey in Bucs history. The same guy wore both those numbers. Mario Lemieux never had an AB for the Pirates.
You know, I saw a numbers question. I thought of...
what's our crack staff doing to us on that?
Oh, there they go in Gainesville. I thought of Al Oliver. I think Al used to wear 0 for like O. He was a Pirate, but I don't think he wore a high number.
See, we have an emailed question from Chimmy. An alternate trivia question. Breaking ball strike. It's in honor of Tommy Hutton's birthday.
And Chimmy is a big part of our crack staff.
He is. Tommy Hutton hit 2 home runs against the Pirates in his career, both off the same pitcher. Who was that pitcher?
We see him often up here in the press area because he's a scout.
Did he star in the movie Major Leagues?
No.
Not Pete Vukovich. Mike Stanton a dive, and he can't come up with it. Did Vukovich pitch for the Pirates? I'm gonna have to pull his bio up.
I know he pitched for the Blue Jays, for the Brewers.
So you're saying the guy is a scout?
Mm-hmm. This is one of those efforts, and it's a terrific effort by Mike Stanton that you worry a little bit about that leg. You just don't want him to extend that hamstring and pull it any worse. But I like the way he went after it. I like the way he's been running, and I think he's going to be fine.
Vukovich did not pitch for the Pirates. He was on our mind because last homestand he was here scouting. Velasco misses down low. He pitched for the White Sox, the Blue Jays, the Cardinals, the Brewers, and I think the Yankees in Major League. He was actually a position player.
He was a hitter.
He was a hitter in that movie. So Diaz taking his rightful spot at second base. And a roller out towards second. Infante comes and gets it and flips to first. And Ricky Velasco is through 6 terrific innings here tonight. And the Marlins are on top 6-0.
KFC.
Press the SAP button on your remote, and Cookie and Raul magically appear. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hi, guys.
A terrific night for Ricky Nolasco, who is dealing. He's in one of those grooves, Cookie.
Absolutely. You know, one thing I was talking to Tommy before the game is the fact that I think that John Bach had done a tremendous job handling all of our pitchers, changing speeds, using his fastball, their changeup, their curveballs, even to start hitters. I think that he has meant a lot to that young staff that we have.
And the other thing, Cookie, it looks like, and this is the case with most pitchers over the years, especially the really good ones. When Ricky went out there the first inning, he had good stuff in the first inning. He had all of his pitches, and sometimes it takes him a little while to get things going. But tonight you knew he had it right away.
Well, absolutely. And not only that, I think that his teammates, you know, with those 4 runs in the second inning, gives him a little more at ease on the mound, you know, and throwing strikes and getting ahead of them and possibly going after his second win this year.
It's a little different look now for the Marlin hitters. Former Marlin and a hard thrower, Chris Resop, the pride of Naples.
Hey, Tommy, thanks a lot for that birthday cake. When I saw that video of you out there in left field for a second there, I thought that was your age countdown that you were doing.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what did Cookie tell you to say that? Come on, Raul.
Oh, God. Hey, thank you so much for that cake.
Hey,
I'm
glad you got the cake.
And the
My
boys
pleasure.
are looking very good. You know, they look like mama. That's
for sure. They love you, Cookie. I know that.
All right, Tommy.
All right, guys, have a good show.
You too, guys.
All right, there's a look at Resop. Chris with the Marlins back in 2005, 2006. Dodgers, Braves, and Pirates since then. And he strikes out Chris Coughlin with a good live high fastball. All right, here's the trivia answer. We'll do the AT&T one first. Who wore 00 and 88? Rick White.
Boy, that would not have known that one. Couldn't guess that.
That's a tough. Our crack staff.
Yeah.
Digging deep, maybe a little too deep for that one. All right, let's answer the email trivia question. Which Pirate did you take deep twice for your only 2 home runs against the Pittsburgh Baseball Organization?
That would be the right-hander Bruce Keeson.
Really? High pop. Garrett Jones is there. By the way, you saw Steve Pierce when we came back. He stays in the game at first. And Resop enters in the Lyle Overbay spot in the Pirate order. Overbay was hitting third. That's where Resop is right now.
A little bit of a Marlins flavor. Not with the club. He was with them in spring training. Chris LaRue, remember at one time a Marlin. And Resop. Jose Veras.
Scott Olson.
Scott Olson trying to come back from injury. Jose Veras is in their bullpen.
Olson's on the disabled list. A Northern Marlin in Traverse City, Michigan. That's close to the heart of our critically acclaimed director, Jim Hawley, in Traverse, Michigan. Resop misses down low. Greetings from Traverse City, where we had 5 inches of snow last night. Marlin fan since 2000. And when I got their farm system in a simulation league, I became a fan of their front office when current ownership took over and Larry Beinfest became general manager. I'd like to hear opinions from both of you on the value of sabermetrics for use in front offices of Major League Baseball teams. How much do the Marlins use it? Which teams do you think use it best? Which teams do you think are best at getting the most from their scouts and from sabermetrics? Hanley fouls it off.
I think, and
the Marlins do use, to start there, Marlins do use it. They have a gentleman on their staff who is well versed in it and advises Larry Beinfest, Michael Hill, and the baseball people.
I think the bottom line is to combine both, and I think the Marlins do that pretty well. They do use the sabermetrics, but they also have some very talented evaluators, guys like Jim Fleming and Stan Meek, guys who are out in the field watching players.
Here's the 1-2. It's fouled back. I think teams that do a great job. I think the Red Sox with Bill James, who's the king of sabermetrics, is on their staff. But they also have a guy like Craig Shipley, who has talented a scout,
is an evaluator,
and an evaluator, and Theo Epstein kind of has a foot in each camp. I think that's the best example of how you use it. There's the 1-2.
Then you combine all those things with a lot of money to spend. You can put together a pretty good ball club.
Yes, you can. Hanley Ramirez flies out to right. Chris Reesop, a 1-2-3 sixth. Pirates in the 7th. Ricky Nolasco against Neil Walker with Garrett Jones and Pedro Alvarez around the corner. And a good breaking ball from Ricky.
How about starting this inning? Ricky's thrown 84 pitches, 60 strikes, and 24 balls, an incredible ratio. 8 strikeouts. Ricky hasn't walked anybody. He's walked one batter all year.
Walker fouls that fastball off. And the count's 1-1. Marlins trying to take the first 2 from the Pirates. The Pirates last night did not score a run, and they had just 2 hits. They've not scored a run here tonight, and they have just 3 hits against Nolasco.
And this is a ball club. You and I were talking about it the other night. Went into Cincinnati and took 3 out of 4 from the Cincinnati Reds.
They've won 3 series on the road already this year. The Cubs, the Cardinals, and the Reds. Last year they won 4 the entire year. Coughlin breaking on it. And he's there, and he makes the catch. Let's do a little Home Depot great defense. Doing more on defense. This was the Hanley play to throw out Alvarez. Home Depot doing more on defense. Speaking of sabermetrics and defense, tomorrow night we will be focused on defense, and the gentleman who writes the Fielding Bible and is the head of the Fielding Bible Awards, John Duhan, will be our guest.
We talked to him last year, the year before.
Year before,
yeah.
And he is right now the guy when it comes to defensive metrics. Zone rating, ultimate zone rating. Fly ball left field. Nolasco gets a quick out there as Bonifacio hauls it in. So John Duhan will join us tomorrow night. We'll also talk to Perry Hill in game, and it will be interesting to get Perry's perspective about, he said a couple weeks ago about the new metrics, zone rating, ultimate zone rating. Perry said from his perspective, if he can get his infielders in the right spots, then some of those numbers don't mean as much because he feels that they'll be in the right spot. They won't have to go as far to make the plays.
They won't have to cover as much of that zone area. And Perry, very astute in scouting reports to get his infielders in the right spot.
This is Alvarez. He is 0 for 2 and scuffling right now. This young hitter has struck out 23 times and walked only 5 times this year. Of course, a second overall pick in 2008, had a terrific collegiate career at Vanderbilt, where he hit 49 home runs.
Well, they had 3 guys, Walker, Tabata, and Alvarez, who all started the year last year in AAA, came up about the same time and started their major league careers, and all were very successful last year.
There is light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't know that we've been able to say that about the Pirates over the last few years, because the Pirates last year spent more money on the draft than any other organization in baseball. They spent over $12 million on the draft. Their Dominican Academy continues to produce talent. They signed one of the big free agents from Mexico, Luis Heredia. And so their minor league system is starting to produce names and prospects.
And the young kid from Mexico is a pitcher.
Yep. They have a very good catching prospect in Double-A. Chris Snyder takes a strike. Tony Sanchez, who's a Miami guy and played collegiately at Boston College. And many feel he's the catcher of the future. The catcher of the present is up right now. Chris Snyder, an 0 for 2 night. I don't know that the Pirates are coming on as fast as the Kansas City Royals are right now. That ball sneaks down the line and into the corner. Bonifacio trying to dig it out. On his way to third, here comes Alvarez. Hanley's throw to the plate is in time. He's out. Wow. John Buck with a tag. Hanley with a great relay. Bonifacio from the corner. How about that for doing more on defense?
How about that for zone ratings?
And it's an email and Twitter Wednesday. Here's the angry emailer of the night. It's from Manny and Davey. We have been getting this same email for the last 4 or 5 years. Why do you guys insist on pronouncing Matt Diaz's name incorrectly? It's maddening to Manny. Well, Manny, listen to this.
Hi, my name is Matt. I play for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And pronounce my last name Diaz. I apologize to all the Hispanic and Spanish-speaking people out there. It is very hard to grasp that you would say D-I-A-Z, anything but Diaz. We understand we say it wrong. We are sorry, but that is just the way my family has said it for generations. So, Matt Diaz signing off.
That's outstanding. Thanks a lot, Matt.
So, Manny, we hear you. We thank you for the email and your concern.
But you've heard it from Matt Diaz himself. So if you have a problem from here on out, take it up with the Diaz family. Matt Diaz is a good guy. And here is Gabby Sanchez. Takes a fastball for a strike. In fact, in this homestand, the first 2 series, the Marlins will see 2 notorious Marlin killers. Guys that have lurked in the bushes and jumped out and hammered the Marlins. Diaz is one. Ty Wigington is coming to town with the Colorado Rockies.
Getting a chance to play a little bit with the Rocks. How about the pitching matchup on Sunday?
Oh, Gabby, I think he just missed that one. Diaz hauls it in.
Josh Johnson and Ubaldo Jimenez, Sunday, Rockies and Marlins.
All-you-can-eat seats are back in 2011. Club-level seats, hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, popcorn, soda. Friday the 22nd against the Rockies. So this Friday, 305-626-SAVE or marlins.com. You can buy club-level seats, and it's all you can eat. Greg Dobbs now with Mike Stanton on deck. Chris Rhysop into his second inning of relief. And he pulls it foul.
There's no question when the Marlins had Chris Rhysop, he has a live arm. He's got a good fastball, nice curveball. It's just a matter of command and getting the opportunity in the bullpen with the Pirates. Chris Rhysop hopes to remain all season in that bullpen.
Marlins traded Rhysop to the Angels.
A little change up there that he's come up with.
To get Kevin Gregg. Edward Mujica in the Marlins bullpen.
Didn't think we'd ever have to say this, but I think Edwin's trying to find some spots to get some work for the bullpen.
Well, last night, of course, JJ went 7. Mike Dunn struck out 2 in an inning, and Brian Sanchez continues an incredible run. Sanchez had a scoreless inning last night. Brian Sanchez, going back to last year, has allowed just 1 earned run in his last 22 appearances. Dobbs swings and misses. That's an incredible run for Brian Sanchez, and it continued last night. Nissan Road ahead. Pirates tomorrow night. We've got that game for you now. We apologize in advance. Friday night is another one of those games that is not on television here in South Florida. We'll be back on Saturday, and as Tommy pointed out, on Sunday. Right now it is Jimenez and JJ scheduled on Sunday. Jimenez threw last night and got knocked around a little bit early. The Rockies have an off day, and I think they are going to pitch him on regular day's rest, which has him throwing on Sunday. The cuticle issue has been cured.
Well, we talked about Roy Halladay knocked around last night in Philadelphia. In that game, Randy Wolf of the Brewers pitched well against his ex-team. I wonder if the Wolfpack was out.
Oh, dancing up in the top of the ballpark in Philadelphia?
Citizens Bank, they were always out at the vet. It's tough for them to get tickets at Citizens Bank.
Rhysop, an impressive 2 innings. He strikes out Stanton. Marlins are done in the 7th, on to the 8th, 6-0 Fish. Let's check in with Allison Williams.
Well, guys, the Pirates are struggling since coming here to South Florida, but prior to that, on the road, playing really well. They've won their first 3 road series for the first time since 2002. We talked to manager Clint Hurdle about some of the things he's doing differently. He said he has restructured their schedule a bit on the road, and one of the things that involved was bringing in a sleep specialist to talk to the team. He spoke to the team about the importance of power naps, which I thought was kind of interesting. It's something you hear a lot in hockey. Guys are always taking game day naps because of the schedule. You've got morning skate and then a big break before you head back to the arena around 5 or so, but I hadn't really heard of it in baseball. So, Tommy, have you ever heard of that, a power nap to help guys out?
Absolutely. I take one every day.
But during your playing days.
I'll tell you what, Allison and Tommy, if you walk through the Marlins clubhouse, well, the Marlins were out at batting practice today. You saw Ricky Nolasco. There's Scott Cousins in right. Donnie Murphy has taken over at third. Ricky Nolasco had the hooded sweatshirt on, blankets on, the reclining chair, fast asleep.
That is Ricky's routine. He gets the hoodie going, he covers himself with blankets and crashes in the clubhouse for a power nap. Edward Mujica in. This is an example of Edwin trying to get someone out of that bullpen, get a little work. So Mujica comes in, gets the first out. Good to see Donnie Murphy out there defensively at third. He's getting better, his knee's getting better. So good to see him out there.
We do have some more emails to get to. Steve Pierce, second AB of the night. There was a gentleman that emailed the other day about a tour of the new ballpark. It's Rick in Coral Springs. In Atlanta, he got a chance to go into the clubhouse, dugout, field, and all that. They do not allow that here in this stadium because this is not the Marlins Stadium. This is obviously the Dolphins Stadium. So there's no tours here. But in the new Marlins ballpark, absolutely there will be tours. And in fact, Claude Delorme indicating that there might be tours before the ballpark opens. Pierce hits a high fly to left. Bonifacio in front of the track makes the catch. So yes, definitely there will be new ballpark tours at the new Marlins ballpark. Toyota trend moving forward since 09, July 4. Marlins have won 6 of 7, outscoring the Pirates. But as Marlin fans know, and as Pirate fans I'm sure know, the Marlins do not play well for some reason in Pittsburgh.
It's been a struggle. I mean, it hasn't mattered if it was at Three Rivers or PNC.
Breaking ball to Jose Tabata, and he takes a strike. Tabata 0 for 3 in this one. From Ramonita in Miami. You guys never pick my email, but happy birthday.
That's because Rich has trouble pronouncing it.
No,
that was good though. What?
Ramonita.
Ramonita.
Ramonita in Miami.
All right.
It's not that we don't pick you. It's a tough process to get through the crack staff screening process to show up on the instant messaging window on the laptop up here. But Ramonita, you've made it. Back of the rotation. If the back of the rotation gets together, can the Marlins make a run in the East? And will JJ get a no-hitter this year? Ramonita. We will answer when we get to the bottom of the 8th. So hang in there. On top 6-0 here in the 8th. Charlie Morton to Omar Infante. Oh, this is Ricky's crash and burn at home plate. You freeze it there. And Ricky goes tumbling down. But happy to report Ricky was fine. In fact, he would go on to finish 7 shutout innings tonight, and is line to get the win.
You kind of shuddered on that play because of the right knee, the meniscus surgery that he had last year. You see him stepping on the plate with that right foot, so all is well. Ricky was tremendous, and Evan Meek was pretty tremendous last year for the Pirates. He was their all-star.
He takes over for Chris Resop, who was perfect in his 2 innings of relief. Charlie Morton started, 5 innings for Morton. And the Marlins did all their damage against the rejuvenated right-hander. Swing and a miss by John Buck. He had a hit against Morton in the 2nd inning. The 2nd inning was an odd inning with some weird stuff that happened. There were 2 outs, and then Buck got a ground ball single to right against the shift that was shifted over towards left center. Then Bonifacio hit a ground ball single to left. And then Morton walked Ricky Nolasco. There's Clay Hensley in the bullpen. And then Chris Coughlin hit a slow roller to second to Neil Walker. That should have ended the inning. But Lyle Overbay had started towards the ball. Walker had to wait till Overbay got back to first. And the wait was long enough for Coughlin to beat the throw. Meanwhile, Buck had scored, and Bonifacio never stopped. He scored.
It's one of those little moments in a game, the aggressive third base coaching of Joe Espada, who has been that way since he's been the Marlins third base coach. But it's one of those moments in a game that if Morton gets out of that inning, you never know how he's going to turn things around. But the Marlins took advantage of it, and the rest is history.
Of course, you just saw Nolasco score on the Infante hit, and that was after a bobble by Tabata. And then Hanley drove in a run with a single. And just like that, the Marlins had put 4 on the board. They added 2 more in the 3rd, and that's how we've arrived at 6-0. All right, you have to answer Ramonita's email. Will JJ get his no-hitter this year?
Well, Ramonita just kind of filed this away. We'd love to see that. He's only thrown 4 complete games, and JJ's yet to throw a shutout. So you kind of like to go in progression. You'd like to see the shutout. He certainly, it seems like, has no-hit stuff every time he goes out there.
That ball's hammered, and Tabata, looking like a goaltender, just put the pads together to make sure it didn't get by him out into the outfield.
But would we ever be surprised if Josh Johnson throws a no-hitter? Absolutely not. Boy, some good swings by John Buck. You mentioned he had a couple of hits in the ballgame last night. Started that rally in the 2nd inning tonight. And Tabata kept the ball in front of him.
Here's Bonifacio. I have to admit, this is the first Jeremy Hermida email we've had in a long, long time. Alex from Miami wants to know what's happened to Jeremy Hermida. Of course, he kind of flamed out with the Red Sox, but he went to camp and had a good spring training for the Reds and just got called up. And he's in Cincinnati with the Reds now.
He had a tremendous spring training.
Yeah.
And he got off to a good start in AAA. And sometimes, who knows, maybe a little wake-up call. It's still very early in the career of Jeremy Hermida.
Adrian and Katie and Kendall have this email. The Marlins are platooning right now at third base. What are your thoughts on Eric Chavez sitting on the Evil Empire's bench? Or are there any other third base candidates out there for the Marlins? That one is fouled off.
Now, Chavez actually got to play a little bit. Alex Rodriguez missed a couple of games.
That's the type of guy that the Yankees can gamble on, because with his history, I don't think he's played a full season or even close to a full season since 05 or 06.
Well, they can gamble on guys like Freddie Garcia and Bartolo Colon, Kevin Millwood, who's in the minor leagues with them. And guys who are at that stage of their careers, if they're going to gamble and they're going to get the opportunity with the Yankees, why not?
Yeah. Oh, 2 coming to Bonifacio. Well, the Marlins have kind of put it together with duct tape and baling wire, haven't they, at third base? Bonifacio, Murphy, Dobbs, Helms. The elbow injury to Matt Dominguez certainly has changed that dynamic as well. I think we posed that question to Larry Beinfest on the last road trip. And as Larry said, the Marlins are always looking and always talking. And so if there's somebody out there that has to be an upgrade over...
That's the key.
Yeah, it has to be an upgrade over the platoon situation. And a guy that can play every day.
A young kid, I say young, I think 26, 27. Brandon Wood was just put on waivers by the Angels.
Bonifacio, and Walker goes up to get it.
At one time, a highly touted, one of their highest touted prospects, but just didn't work out. He's a third baseman. But yeah, you and I had a conversation with Edwin about that, and Edwin basically said, because he's seen him, I would take Donnie Murphy right now over Brandon Wood.
That's Adrian and Katie. They're also planning a Northwest summer trip and are headed up to Seattle to watch the Marlin games that are moved because of the U2 concert.
Oh, they'll love that ballpark up there, huh?
Yes, they will. Safeco Field is one of the great ballparks in baseball. They want to know if we're doing a road trip special for that. I know one of the places that you and I will be visiting on that road trip. The headquarters for Tommy Bahama are in Seattle.
Yeah, we'll make a visit there. I think that's higher on the list than Snoqualmie Falls.
That's Cal Ripken's favorite breakfast place, my friend.
It is.
It is.
I've had brunch there.
That is a favorite spot of many major league players that go into Seattle, is to drive up into the mountains to Snoqualmie Falls.
It's about less than an hour from Seattle.
About
right?
40 minutes from downtown Seattle.
Beautiful view.
Scott Cousins bounces into that fielder's choice. And Chris Coughlin comes up. Coughlin, a couple hits, couple strikeouts. Evan Meek delivers, and Pierce picks it up, steps on the bag. Ninth inning rolls around for the Pirates, and they are running out of outs. scores like cold, hard blast. Mike Stanton still hasn't hit a home run, but he came pretty darn close in this one. Bounced it off the top of the wall. His 6th double, the Marlins' 42nd double of the season. Edward Mujica will try to finish off the Pirates and preserve another shutout as the Marlins try to go back-to-back on shutouts with the Pirates. A 6-0 win last night, a 6-0 lead tonight. Diaz up the middle, and Matt Diaz, ladies and gentlemen, is in the house with 2 hits, a line drive out. He is 2 for 4. He is almost hitting 400 in his career in this ballpark.
That's almost like automatic when whatever team he's on, when Matt Diaz is in the lineup and it's in this ballpark, he's you just mark him down for a couple of hits. You just hope those couple of hits don't hurt you.
Daniel in Lake Worth, any word on Morrison? No, the Marlins are waiting for the results of the MRI, which come in tomorrow on his strained arch. Mujica throws a strike to John Bowker, who gets his first at bat of the ball game. JM Lexus presents leaders of the game. National League strikeout leaders. The Pirates have punched out 160 times. Absent from that list, that usually on the top of that list is Arizona. They've changed.
They kind of changed their outlook on things. They traded away some of those big strikeout guys.
JM Lexus Price Minutes #1. Click jmlexus.com to find out how. Bowker, a former San Francisco Giant.
You get rid of Mark Reynolds, all of a sudden that number goes way down. Reynolds now with the Baltimore Orioles. That was one of the plans of Kirk Gibson, too.
Yeah, and Gibson tried to do it with the personnel that he inherited when he took over the managing job from A.J. Hinch, and he really preached patience, cut down the strikeouts. And in the offseason, as you noted, they kind of changed their roster up. Mujica now with a count 3-2. And Mujica finishes off Bowker. That'll bring up Neil Walker.
Bowker, by the way, one of the 2 hits the Pirates got last night against Josh Johnson.
Daniel has this question. We were just talking about those games that the Marlins have to play in Seattle. Marlins will be the home team.
No DH.
Will the Marlins wear their home jerseys, and will they bring their own PA announcer and the Mermaids?
That's it. I would guess yes on the home jerseys. I think that's a great idea to bring Dick Sanford, have Dick make the trip.
I thought you were going to say it was a great idea to bring the Mermaids. I'm all for that. There's a line drive. Gabby's got it. Tags Diaz. Ball game. Marlins win it. For the 2nd consecutive night, the Fish shut out the Pirates. And the Marlins take the first 2 games of this series. They improve their record to 10-6. Ricky Nolasco, 7 shutout innings. And the Marlins jumped on Charlie Morton early and often. And the final is 6-0. Some final thoughts before we get to Marlins Live coming up.